This video, it's for you. This video is about the simple, pure fact that you are the cure and the cancer. That you are the solution in your life and the fucking problem at the same time. We all are. Now, this is what I mean. We're going to back up a little bit so you can see where I'm coming from. It's your boy, Diversified, dropping some more knowledge, if you want to call it that. Just my perspective. And that's what this video is about. It's about perspective. Your perspective. Our individual perspectives. Because it's that perspective that shapes whether or not we perceive ourselves as the solution or the fucking problem. It's that perspective that makes people feel like they're here to save everyone, or they're the devil. They're a demon and they should be punished, and nothing they do will ever work. So you have to think about it like this. You know the phrase, the saying, glass half empty, glass half full. Well, there is something really, really, really deep and profound about that, because you have to think about your perspective. Now, a lot of things in life, if you just think about this also, this is also a pure fact. Our actions are triggered, inspired by our feelings. Just about everything you do, me making this video, you watching this video, in some way is shaped by our feelings. Your actions are triggered by your feelings. It's really, really hard not to have that connection. I don't even know if it's possible, really. So if you look at all of your actions in your life, good and bad, pro and con, past, present, future, if you look at them through the perspective, through the connection of feelings, trigger actions, that's essentially your perspective. The things that you've been through, your experiences, the inputs that's come into your life, all of these things help to shape a perspective. And it's from that perspective that you begin to see yourself and the rest of the world. So coming back to that glass half empty, half full scenario. If you're someone who's coming from the history and the experiences and the feelings of being thirsty, of starving, of having lack of resources, the insecurity of resources, then when you see that glass that's half, you see it as half full. You see it as opportunity. You rush to it. You need it. You want it. You know why? Because from your perspective, the things that you've been through, you never really had it. It was never really available. Or it's something that's so valuable because, there's a scarcity of it. So that's from your perspective. And your feelings are shaped by your perspective. Your perspective are shaped by your feelings. I don't know which one is chicken or egg. Maybe y'all could comment. Somebody can tell me their perspective on what comes first, your perspective or your feelings, or are they related? They're like half sisters. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're related, but not all the way related. But the point being is your perspective is shaped by your feelings. And your feelings perhaps are shaped by your perspective. So if you come from the history and the feelings of not having shit, then when you see that glass that's half, it's half full. And now I want it. I need it. That's valuable. And you're attracted to it. If you come from living on lakes and rivers and being on the ocean and water and liquidity and everything is like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is nothing to you. This glass is half empty because you've come from the history, you've come from the perspective, you've come from the feeling of having that. So what I'm trying to get to is, in our individual lives, our perspectives, our feelings about ourselves kind of shapes our actions. And that's where you end up becoming either the cancer to a situation or the cure. The solution or the problem. So I once posed this question to people. Let me smoke on this one real quick, because this is a really deep thought. What if the things that you feel about yourself, the things that other people maybe have said to you, or that you felt from other people, what if these things, these bad things about you, what if they were real? People wasn't lying on you. You wasn't lying on yourself. That shit is real. Whatever the bad stuff is, you smell, you're dumb, you're ugly, you talk too much, you're fat, you're too much, you're not enough, whatever the fuck, because we all have been told something and we all have felt something. So you imagining yourself, whatever the bad things about you, the things that you feel bad about yourself, and the things that you think other people feel bad about you, what if that shit was true? Absolutely true. But now, on the other side of that coin, what if all of the things that you think about yourself, all of the positive things you've ever heard other people say about you, what if that was true too? What if they both were true? The bad shit about you and the good shit. What if that all was true? Now what? Where does that put you? Where does that leave you? Because it is true. It is true. Because it's based upon your feelings. How can you tell someone that their feelings aren't true? How can you tell yourself that your feelings aren't true? You can never negate someone's feelings. Their feelings, their perspective is 100% true to them. To them. Now, other people may share that. Other people may be able to relate to it. Other people may have had similar experiences. But still, it's individualized. So what I'm trying to say is that someone who feels bad about themselves, someone perhaps who's come from bad experiences, someone who's been bombarded by bad input, they may see not only that glass half empty, they may see themselves as half empty. They're going to see just about every other situation as half empty. When someone's excited about good news, they're not. It's kind of hard for them to do that because they come from the feelings, from the mindset, from the perspective that good things don't happen to them, that they're part of the problem, or that the world is going to beat down on them. So it's really hard for them to see the same action that you saw, and they take it and see it negatively, whereas you take it and see it positively. It's because it's their feelings. But how can you negate someone's feelings? Or, sometimes people are like, you got that motherfucker that's always happy, always trying to cheer people up, always trying to see the bright side of things. And there's sometimes when I don't want to see the bright side of things. I've been told that before. And the way that I kind of kick it with people, it's not that I try to present the bright side of things. It's just that I try to relate to someone on their feelings. Because I'm not going to tell you your feelings are wrong. Who the fuck am I to tell you your feelings are wrong? Because I know you can't tell me mine are wrong. Now, you can give me some advice on how to deal with them. But really what I try to do is I try to help people relate to what they're feeling. You tell me this is what you're feeling, and then I try to find a way to relate to it and be like, oh yeah, I can see why that would make you mad, or I can see why that would make you happy. It doesn't have to be bad shit. But I try to find a way to relate to that person's feelings so it's like, yeah, I've experienced that before. And if I have not experienced what they've experienced before, I cannot relate to it, you know what I do? I ask them, what was that like? And then you go down the staircase a little bit deeper, where eventually at some point you can relate to something. You can find something to relate to. And that's called humanity. That's called getting to know people. Integration, whatever the fuck you want to call it. But that it's not a bad thing. That's knowledge. That's fucking knowledge on that person and how they see themselves. Because real talk, real strategic talk. 2 points I'll make in their strategic points. One, you want to know what someone will do? Find a way to figure out how that person feels about themselves. Good way to predict what someone would potentially do is to get some intel, get some info, peep out how they feel about themselves. And the second part, I got a strategy book. It's called My Strategic Bible. No blasphemy. But it's a really good resource for me as far as strategic thinking. And it basically says how, essentially our feelings are a cancer. Or not a cancer. Our feelings are kind of poisonous to us. You don't really think about it that way. But in certain ways, our feelings can be poisonous to us. Our feelings can make us see enemies that ain't there. And our feelings can make us see angels that don't fly, that don't heal, that don't give a fuck. But we see it. We want to see it. That's why sometimes we believe certain people and certain institutions based upon a feeling, our feelings, a perspective. And here's another strategic thing. There's feelings and there's perspectives. That's here. But up here on a whole nother level, and it can become very, very dangerous, is beliefs and feelings. Beliefs and faith. Beliefs and faith. Because someone's feelings, someone's perspective can change. It can be altered. It can evolve. Someone's faith, their belief, they die for that shit. They'll kill for that shit. All throughout human. So my point being is our actions are shaped by our feelings and our perspective. It's almost like a fucking math problem. Actions equal feelings multiplied by half of perspective. But our actions are triggered by our feelings and our perspectives. And like I say, our feelings and our perspectives can change. You've had people who are hella racist, hella xenophobic, hella, sexist, hella, against the poor, just whatever. And then they have a change in feelings. They have a change of perspective. And it can be authentic. But when you have people who elevate their feelings and their perspectives to a faith, to a belief structure, Sigma male, remember? If you don't know, go ask somebody. Go watch a previous video. I don't fuck with that. Won't, can't. It's not me. It's not who I am. So that's why I'm often outside of many certain groups, because I'm like, I don't pledge allegiance and fidelity to the group. I pledge allegiance and fidelity to what's authentic. And the things around that can evolve, but what's really real, what's true, you know what I'm saying? What can you really go to sleep on resting that you feel confident about? Anything beyond that, it's speculative. Let's just be honest. So, but when you have people that build a faith or a belief structure off of their feelings and their perspectives, and also think about this, your feelings and your perspectives, it's got both sides of the coin. That's why I initially brought up the glass half empty, half full. There's some people who are so full of themselves. They are so confident to the point of being arrogant and snobby, and you know what I'm saying? But they have a certain confidence in themselves. They think and expect good things to happen to them. And you know what happens? A lot of times, it does happen. From their perspective. From the perspective of who's viewing it. If someone, put it like this, there are people who bust their ass in the gym, in the job, in their books, in their work to become a success. And quote unquote, they become a success. But they lost relationships. It affected their health. You know what I'm saying? There were other things that they gave up that were valuable to them, but they made the choice to give it up. So my point being is, there's a good there are people who think good of themselves. Their perspectives and their feelings about themselves trigger them to try harder, to do more, to help more, to make more, to spend more, to party more, to live more, because they believe that they can get a return on that confidence, on that feeling, on that perspective. The other side of that, there are people who retract themselves from life. They don't believe. I had a friend, going back to high school years, that was my dog, that was my homeboy, my best friend basically. And I don't know if he was dealing with something. I'm not a licensed therapist. I'm a really damn good friend, but I'm not a licensed therapist. So I rolled with him for a while and tried to really We were at a certain teenage stage in our life where, you question yourself about certain things. You lack a certain confidence about certain things until you develop it. Or maybe you don't. But at some point you get your footing, hopefully. He was at that age and stage where, okay, yeah, we trying to figure things out, but you can't beat yourself up in the process, man. We gonna make it happen. And the only way you make it happen is by trying. Trial and error. Fucking try. I'm notorious. Give you a little inside thing about me, Diversified, your boy Diversified. I've discovered in my life, in my Gen X years, I am notorious for succeeding on the second attempt. On the second attempt. So what that means is that when I want to do something, when it's authentic for me to make a move, to try something, to make it happen, I got to try twice. I got to try more than once. I can't put my foot in the water and think that was the experience. I have to try it and then know that I got this input, I had this experience, I gained new perspective, and then I return like motherfucking Luke Skywalker in Return of the Jedi. I went through the training, you know what I'm saying? I went through the experience a little bit. I come back with a little bit more strength, a little bit more confidence because I did this the first time. And now I know more than I knew then. And I have the knowledge of a little bit of what to expect. Man, come on now. I'm stronger. I'm better prepared for what I'm trying to do. So in my own personal life, I've discovered I have to try things twice. Because the second time, I'm probably going to make so much more progress than I made the first time. But my point being is there's some people who move with a certain confidence that good things are going to happen because I make them happen. Or they're supposed to happen for me, whatever. And so they kind of move in that direction. And there's some people who, their perspective, their feelings, that glass is half empty. And they retract themselves. And they pull themselves away from opportunities. And then thus, fewer things start to happen. So I had a friend that was like that. And I'm trying to relate to his feelings. And yeah, I know, dog. I know. It's rough out here. I know. We trying to figure out what the fuck. But you know what, though? Opportunity. You know what, though? Let's try it. You know what, though? Let's go live. And bit by bit, it became harder and harder. He kind of wanted to fight me with that, man, why you coming around with this happiness or, perspective or sunshine's going to come through the cloudy, through the dark clouds. I don't want to hear that. And I'm like, hey, I'm not going to present you with the world is shitty because that's not the perspective that I want to have. I guess that's not the perspective. That's not what I've lived through. So that's not what's authentic for me. I can relate to dark times. I can relate to cloudy days. I can relate to fucked up moments. And that's why whenever you see me do this, that's me saying my heart goes out to somebody. I can understand that this is challenging for you. I wish it wasn't challenging for you. I don't even fucking know you. But because I've gone through things and I know what it's like, oh, you're on the side of the road, tires blown out, midnight, I feel for you. I've been there. If I can help, I would. But I definitely feel for you. So it's about a certain perspective, and someone might be feeling themselves in a certain way where they only believe in the bad things about themselves. They only believe in the bad things people have told them. Some people carry themselves in a certain way where they only believe the good things. It ain't shit bad you can tell them. But my point being is right there. If you can focus in on right there, what triggers, what makes you feel that way? What gives you your perspective? And then also realize it's your perspective. How many times have people said this or have you heard this? You think the world... Hold on, I'll wait for this to come by. Fire truck. How many times have you heard this perspective where people are so caught up in their own feelings that they think, or people are so worried, people are so worried about what other people are thinking about them. And they fail to realize that everybody else is thinking the same thing. So few people are really paying attention to you and worrying about you because they're worried about people paying attention to them. We're all at times hiding our insecurities and wearing a fucking mask. But if you think that there's beauty behind your mask, you know what you're going to do sometimes? You're going to take it off. And you're not going to be afraid to show the world the true beauty that you have. Yeah, there's going to be times, oh, I got that cold sore. Oh, yeah, you know, I got that scar or something. And you put the mask on. It's understandable. But your feelings, your perspective, you are the cancer, but you're also the cure. If you can change that feeling, if you can change the perspective, you can change the narrative about yourself. You know, there's some people who, they feel wonderful about themselves and they don't give a fuck what the world thinks about them. Think about how they would move about the world. They would do things that other people wouldn't do because they're not waiting for other people to approve it. Now you think about this. There are other people who the world loves them and they fucking hate themselves. The world thinks they're beautiful and all they can see is the bad shit. So how do you think they move about the world? They move about the world in this way that's like, please don't reveal my insecurities. Please don't reveal the piece of shit that I think I am. And that's fucked up. So what I'm trying to say to you in this brief, not so brief video, all my videos, I swear I'm trying to do them so much quicker. But what I'm trying to conclude with is you are the fucking cancer. The bad shit that you think about yourself, the bad input that you take in from the world, you're the fucking problem. But you're also the cure. You're also the solution because you can change that. You can change it. Real change is incremental and internal. So you can change it. But it has to be authentic. It has to come from you. And it has to really be triggered by how you see that glass. Is it half empty or half full? I know me in my own personal life, when I see that half empty glass, and notice what I said, half empty glass. I'm sorry. When I see that glass that's half, I see a glass that's half full. I see a glass that's half full. I get thirsty. I think about other people who might be thirsty. I see a glass that's half full. But I know it's also half empty. You tell me what you see. You tell me what you know. It's your boy, Diversified. Hey, stay real out here. Be safe. I'll holla at you.